Hello and welcome to the weekly outlook. Going into the week, we've got a few bits and bobs out on the calendar. Primarily, I'm going to be looking at the Australian dollar. We've got RBA Governor Lau speak on Monday at 10 past 10 due to speak at the city's 8th annual Australian and New Zealand Investment Conference in Sydney. So there might be some mention of a monetary policy there. And then at 1:30 a.m. on Tuesday, we've also got the monetary policy meeting minutes. Now, meeting minutes, the RBA is expected to cut again at some point. However, when that is a little bit hazy and a little bit cloudy at the moment. So what I'm thinking is I would like to try and get into the Australian dollar against the US dollar for a sell. Fairly sort of early stage, and we've had you can see here I've got a daily chart, and we found that there's a fair bit of sort of resistance in this currency pair around this sort of 7,750 area, and we've got a slight bit of a downward slope in the more recent sort of rallies that we've got going on this currency pair. So it's kind of retesting these sort of levels and then selling off again. Now, if we take this down to the 4-hour chart, you can see that we've come across with where we've had this pullback here at the moment. We've come across, now we are still quite early on Friday when I'm recording this video, so the price could be slightly changed by the time it's released on Monday. But it's not going to change the outlook, which is to try and sell the Australian dollar. Now you can see here we've got this area of support, which has become resistance on several occasions, and it's retested that again this morning. Now, we're coming into the retail sales figure this afternoon on the US dollar, so this could in fact start to sell off by that period. But I expect it to continue to probably retest this level whilst the risk sentiment in the market is still risk on. Now, we had good Chinese data that come out this morning, good CPI data, which has aided this Aussie dollar and supported it somewhat. And also the oil price is fairly high at the moment as well, which has also managed to support the Australian dollar around about $51 to the barrel at the moment, as you can see. So the support is continuing to be there at this present time, but like I say, I expect that to diminish as the US dollar takes over and starts to push this down. Now, the monetary policy meeting minutes coming out next week should also show that the RBA don't want to have a strong exchange rate. They want to try and keep the Australian dollar weak because it will support the economy. Their last comments on this were that if the Australian dollar continues to rally, then it is a concern. So again, just slightly talking the currency down there, and we do expect that to continue. So what we need to do is to try and get in this sort of currency about this sort of price, or maybe a slightly higher retest of the 7,650 area, or even that declining trend line. So we've got some time to play, and then we'll be looking to sell that off into next week through that monetary policy meeting minutes. And then we've got some good data due out on the Australian dollar as well in the same week, going towards the end of the week. Unemployment claims, Philly Fed manufacturing index. We've also got some CPI data as well, month on month on the Tuesday afternoon. So hopefully we'll be sort of well underway to US dollar strength. Okay, so that's the real only sort of trade call I'm looking at next week. The pound, although it is kind of sort of all over the place at the moment in terms of how low it is, and to be honest, I am expecting a decent sized pullback on this, and I think we're going to see that pullback fairly soon. We do seem to be sort of oversold on this quite heavily, and I wouldn't be surprised to see a great deal of profit taking and a big pullback in this at some point, and that's what I'm going to be waiting for. Now, we have got CPI data out on the pound. We've got average hourly earnings, claimant count change, so we've got a fair bit of data coming out next week which could support the pound and push it back up to this 125 area. But I will be looking to sell it again. It's going to remain under pressure on the lead into the Brexit negotiations, so still looking to sell that in the longer term. Okay, that's all for now. I hope you can make some pips, and I'll see you next week.